But Kyle Lemmerman will put total leather for TCU. Chris Culliver, one of the deep men back. He returned 5 kickoffs for Carolina last year, 2 to the house. Lemmerman. Culliver looking for room. And TCU chases him out of bounds, well short of the 20-yard line. And North Carolina will have it on offense first behind Gio Lopez. Lopez, who grew up in Northwest Alabama and Madison, started his college career at South Alabama for Major Applewhite, dual threat guys Kirk mentioned earlier. He will be the first left-handed quarterback to start a game for Bill Belichick. He did not arrive until after spring practice. So we'll see what we do with Lopez in terms of how much he runs. They've also had some injuries on the offensive front. They are starting Christo Kelly, the backup center, because the alternative was a guy who never snapped in a college game before. And the first play on the ground goes right to Caleb Hood. And Caleb Hood, a good pickup on first down, Kirk, as we take a look at our impact players, brought to you by Voya.
Yeah, you're going to see a group of backs by committee here in this game for Carolina. Nice run there by Hood. Benjamin Hall also Ship on the outside one, most talented receiver. DO11 gives him the most pressure for TCU. And great group of linebackers. Obi Izor is the inside, number 4. Most experience, and the guy that really has to step up for the Horned Frogs tonight.
They'll keep it on the ground. This is Benjamin Hall. Hall, the transfer from Michigan, a load, and he's really been good in the early part of practice, and it gives Carolina a first down. Yeah, the
big thing here, but with you got Freddie Kitchens, who stayed from Mac Brown's staff, one of the few holdovers, calling the plays as an offensive coordinator. Remember, he had some success as a play caller. You go all the way back to 2018, was in the NFL with Baker Mayfield and the Browns. Wants to be physical. They want to run the football to set up the play action game.
Two runs and a first down. That's Hood, who had the first carry of the game. And Hood finds some more room, and that's his second 9-yard carry of the night. And they're moving and getting creases here in the early going.
Now, this is good communication with, remember, 70 new players. You really wonder how things will work out when it comes to communication, the continuity. Good job of pressing that to the inside by the back Hood, and read that double team.
Lopez's first pass, he's got a man out there, and hauling it in is Jordan Ship. And the first pass of Gio Lopez's Carolina career is an explosive play.
And when you run the football, watch what it does to the linebackers and safeties. Their eyes get into the backfield. It allows you to work across like this. See how he's a little hesitant, looking for the crosser, but nobody gets back deep. Good job of putting that out in front where Ship can make a play on the football. It's exactly how Carolina wanted to kind of set up this offense with a new quarterback and a lot of new pieces. Establish the line of scrimmage, make your quarterback comfortable, then let him throw in rhythm and get a shot downfield.
Picked up 39 on the big pass play to Ship. Now the RPO on the slant. Ship again, and he's dragged down at the 5. First and goal, North Carolina. 19 yards on the play.
Yeah, the eyes of the quarterback there, Ship, on the RPO. Really good job of feeling the safety come down to help out and run support. Again, go back to those first few plays by Freddie Kitchens. When you can establish that run and make that a threat, even in the opening drive, you can lull those safeties and backers to sleep, get them out of position, and then hit them with a quick RPO on that glance route for another first down.
So first and goal. Hood, who's had a couple of good runs on the drive. Lopez has hit both of his passes. Now Gio going to run it, and he'll be knocked down in the backfield. And that's really the first good play for the TCU defense. The first guy there was Jamel Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson came up flying. That's what they've been doing. This time he took away the threat. You know, that's a complete quarterback run, design run. They will not hold back at all. They're confident in what he can do. He's physical, very strong lower half. He almost looks like Tua in his uniform, and the way he, being a lefty, he's got that look as far as his size of his body. But he's tough to bring down, but a great play that time by Johnson in the open field.
Ran for nearly 500 yards at South Alabama last year. Leave it with Hood. Hood for the goal line, stranding and goes in, standing up. Touchdown Heels. The dignitaries pleased with the way the festivities have started here for the Heels. Kurt, 7 plays, 83 yards. Now Reese Verhoff on to add the extra point. A transfer from Marshall makes it 7-0, and what a tremendous start for North Carolina. Hood had the first carry and he had the final one on that drive. Bill can hardly contain himself. Go for one. And I mean, that might be the Holy Trinity of North Carolina right there.
As it gets right there.
With Roy Williams, Lawrence Taylor, and the great Michael Jordan, who Herbie said he wanted to go meet before the night's over.
If I'm leave for a little bit, I apologize.
Josh Hoover, in his third year as a starting quarterback for TCU, he's from the greater Dallas area, set a single-season record with nearly 4,000 yards passing, played very well in the postseason, wanted to improve the decision-making once he gets outside the pocket, but man, when he throws it, Sonny Dykes says, it looks like he was born to throw it. So now he'll try to answer this North Carolina opening drive with TCU putting the ball in play at its own 25. Hoover's first pass hits complete, and it'll be a first down. Eric McAllister, their leading receiver. Last year, 92% of his catches went for a first down, and there's another.
And taking a look at our impact players besides Hoover around him, Barnes gives him some downhill running. The UTSA back, it could be big for them. Eric McAllister, you just saw there on the slant, big, rangy receiver at 6'3". DeAndre Robinson, number 6, can be a difference maker. Very explosive for Carolina's defense. And then House actually transferred with Steve Belichick, who was the defensive coordinator at Washington, came over to be the DC here for his father. And House came with him from Washington, has really been helpful with the scheme.
Another pass to McAllister. This time McAllister will be knocked down just short of the 40. He's not the only guy. A guy was helping out on the tackle there that came over with Steve Belichick was Thaddeus Dixon.
It'd be a good matchup with Kendall Briles, obviously with his father Art, known for that system where it's very, very fast with the tempo, multiple formations, try to create a lot of confusion, and they're an RPO-heavy team. So see how that matches up against Steve Belichick and his Carolina D.
The ground for the first time, and Kevorian Barnes, who had transferred from UTSA, found absolutely nowhere to go. Andrew Simpson was there, transferred from Boise State, who's been the leader for this defense.
You know, that time Leroy Jackson, 91, got in there and influenced the play. You'll see him right here. What's interesting, he just keeps trying, just working back to the football, and his backside ends up stoning the back who's trying to get a little bit of room to run. So good job by that defense. Flying to the football.
They gave him a yard on it. TCU good on third down a year ago. Hoover firing incomplete as Dixon had McAllister all locked up, and it'll be fourth down.
Yeah, there I think Hoover, he probably predetermined with the pre-snap movement that he wants to get the ball out here, but look at the tight end release here. If he would have given this a little bit of a time, look at that, that's a first down, but I think he determined before that snap he wanted to go to his go-to target, Eric McAllister. He missed the tight end there for the first down.
So TCU will have to punt it away. That is Ethan Crom, senior from Australia, one of the Pro Kick Academy guys. Will Hardy, the veteran Carolina safety, was back there to return it and didn't have a chance. Short kick goes out of bounds, and North Carolina, which had a spectacular opening drive, has really good field position starting at the 35. 25-yard punt. Bill Belichick. When it comes to Super Bowl titles, no one's ever done it better than Bill Belichick. Also has a couple more as a defensive coordinator. Only 3 guys have won a Super Bowl and also won a national championship as a college coach. Pete Carroll, Jimmy Johnson, and Barry Switzer all doing it. Now, no one's suggesting that Carolina is going to do that this year. But
Never know.
we are
yeah,
that's true. We are suggesting that's why he's here, ultimately.
Yeah, absolutely. But it couldn't have started. This game could not have started any better for Carolina, both sides of the ball.
We'll see was the most common phrase uttered, and that's really the first mistake of the night.
False start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The big 72 is Aiden Buchanan, a 6'9", 330-pound freshman.
I mean, that is a big man at any level, but he's a freshman at 6'9", 330. I mean, that's
playing left tackle. Of course, right tackle with Lopez would be the blind side. Buchanan's a guy who originally was slated to go to West Virginia. Changed his mind, wound up here at North Carolina. Playing the left tackle spot. Gio Lopez only took 6 snaps under center last year. And took one there, and not much running room for DeMond June, the young running back from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Here are the coordinators, Kirk.
Yeah, and Freddie Kitchens, as we talked about, he wants to be physical. He has that background in being in the NFL, set up their play action game, a little bit of quarterback run. Andy Avalos, who's in his second year now as a defensive coordinator. You know, I think being in the second year of the system not only helps him, but I think the players understanding the scheme. This is a defense that had some issues, especially on third down and in the red zone area. They've really worked hard to get better.
Kirk, keep an eye on the center. That's Chad Lindbergh. That's his first career shotgun snap. And Gio Lopez somehow got away, or maybe a whistle blew. And they did not like this here as Zach Chapman was applying the pressure, number 0 for TCU, as this drive has not started as well as the first one for the Heels.
Third down.
Really good job here, a little twist. You'll see him coming, working from the outside back to the inside after that little movement with the linebacker blitzing. And he's able to just overpower the right guard, Daniel King. Crowd, like you say, frustrated. They thought Gio Lopez with that low center of gravity able to pull out of there, but he's sacked and now 3rd and 23.
I think that might have been a quick whistle because Chapman eased up when he heard the whistle. He had him in the grasp. With 3rd and 23, they'll try to mitigate the damage, and TCU a much better defensive series than the opening one. Jamel Johnson, Devin Deal among those there to stop it.
Yeah, a big focus again for TCU this year. And there's Eddie Avalos fired up. Is more negative plays, getting teams behind the sticks. That's one way to get better on third down. And that's what they were able to do here on this series, get off the field.
Tom McGinnis will punt it away. It's Jordan Dwyer, transfer from Idaho, who is the deep man for TCU. TCU didn't take a lot of transfers, spotted guys, and now both teams have a particularly short punt. They'll mark it out of bounds just right around the 40-yard line, and it's where the Horns will have it. He was so proud of that. He said he told his representative, I know what he's going to say. And that's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. You see that over 3,900 yards. You know, there's his dad right there, obviously here, excited to see what his son can do. But one of 2 returning quarterbacks from last year that threw for more than 25 touchdowns and over 3,900 passing yards. The other is Garrett Nussmeier. So gives you an idea of what he's capable of doing when he has time. Very talented quarterback.
Second possession for TCU, and the Horned Frogs going to lose a couple on the quick completion. Mari House there to make the stop.
Well, Steve Belichick has got to see this and love this. This ball gets out in a hurry, but I want you to watch the powder blue. Watch Carolina blue jerseys. Watch how they pursue, leverage the football, take away any threat at all after the catch.
Hoover back to work, going downfield, and cannot quite make the connection with Dwyer, and there is a flag that comes in late. It was Marcus Allen on the coverage. These 2 corners for Carolina, maybe the 2 best players on defense, certainly 2 of the 3 or 4 best players. It's our Big 12 crew led by Kevin Marr. Sorts out The flag, a little discussion.
Well, if he got him in the middle of the route around the 50 or the other 45 on the jersey right there. It's not late, it's early on the route itself right there, grabbing that jersey. That's when the flag came in. So you might see the end of the play and say, hey, it looked clean, but it was in the middle of that route where the hands got a hold of that jersey. The fans are seeing the end of the play. Had nothing to do with the call. Official made the right call.
So that'll put the Horned Frogs into Tar Heel territory.
And if they're going by the end of the play, if they're going to boo that, I'm with them. They should boo that. But if they go back about 10 yards where he grabbed his jersey, my man here in the white shirt, he'd be like, well, I guess that is a penalty.
I would imagine the discussion between the officials, are you calling defensive holding or pass interference? A little pop pass, get it quickly to the edge. Jordan Bailey, explosive guy, and he'll get it down to just about the 40-yard line. Pick up of maybe 4 before Gavin Gibson gets him out of bounds.
You know, when Kendall Briles gets this offense going, it's going a lot faster. And they're stretching you horizontally with jet sweep and quick throws, which they're trying to do. Those have been taken away for the most part. And then they're going to stretch you vertically. And then they mix in the run game, which was really missing a year ago. Big emphasis this year is running the ball better.
A lot of Tar Heels came up and squirting through there is Kavorian Barnes. He just about had a big gain there, and he'll be stopped right at the 35.
Hey, you're going to pull both your guards here. You'll see them try to get out in front. Like I said, Kendall Briles and Sonny Dykes, they want to see this team run the football. Here's an unusual formation. Get 4 receivers out in front. That's an easy first down with a quick throw.
Barnes making the grab. This guy was the Conference USA Freshman of the Year at UTSA. He's battled some injuries, but picked up the first down.
Yeah, there's that 4 look. Just this really extension of the run game. Now they start to crank their tempo up, mixing up the formations, trying to create as much confusion and try to get that Carolina defense out of position. You got 70 new players. You're going against tempo. They've had a month to try to get ready for this style of offense that you see quite a bit in the college game. You don't see it at all in the NFL, but Steve Belichick at Washington last year has seen it.
They're riding with Barnes, and he rumbles down inside the 30. One of the things you might see, they're waiting late in the clock. Reminder that the communications into the players, the helmet communication goes off at 16 seconds on the play clock.
I'm just liking to see right now that Kavorian Barnes is bringing a very different downhill physical look to this offense. Like I said, if this offensive style doesn't have that balance and they can't establish the run, it really neutralizes what it can do.
Do a good job picking up the backers. Hoover puts it right on the money. What a throw to Jordan Dwyer, and the Horned Frogs have answered. 27 yards.
It's a nice job here. TCU answering, this time looking like the offense they expect to have this year. And it's a good job. We're bragging about Barnes, his willingness to run and get downhill. This time he does a nice job of stepping up and picking up this backer blitz. With a middle field safety, you got a one-on-one shot. And with Hoover's accuracy, look at that ball. Right over that outside shoulder, right exactly where Dwyer, the transfer out of Idaho, could go get it and get that touchdown. Great play, great drive by the Horned Frogs.
6 plays, 58 yards, took a tick over 2.5 minutes.
Number 94 as well for TCU.
So Kyle Lemmerman, strong leg kicker. They had a little bit of a kicking issue in camp in terms of a little bit erratic. They think they've got it straightened out. Lemmerman's first attempt of the night will be a PAT to tie it.
Boy, Hoover can throw the football, man. That pass interference set that up.
Marcus Allen wasn't pleased with that call, but not much defense for that kind of throw that Hoover just made to tie this game at 7 late in the first quarter.
But when Bill Belichick came in and was announced, he and Mike Lombardi, they went to work. They tried to figure out, what can we do here? We've got to get the right personnel to fit our scheme and our attitude and our culture. So right away, you got 13 new assistant coaches. They went out, brought in 70. Reese can help you understand how you can bring in 70. Normal year, in old days, you'd bring in 25 guys.
Right.
Now you can bring in 70. We saw Coach Prime was able to do that. And now with Mike Lombardi here with Bill, they decided to go out and bring in a bunch of guys.
Well, the rules, Kirk, obviously, as most people know, vastly different now. There are no limits on transfers. You don't have to sit out when you transfer. You also have the new revenue sharing there, so more of the players can be paid legally.
Yeah.
So you had 40 guys come in as transfers. They were able to sign or bring in 30 freshmen, and you just have an overall roster limit now. So they are among the top. It's the third most in Power 4. West Virginia has brought in a few more than that. Brought in more than anybody. So that's why you can overhaul your roster this quickly, but putting it together is tricky.
And interesting, we asked him, we sat down with him yesterday, Coach, now that you did 70 with a lot of the transfer portal, do you see that being the way of the future? Or are you going to do it the way you built the Patriots, more with the draft and sprinkle in some free agents? He said that's exactly how we're going to do it. 26 and beyond. They just needed to try to make those changes to try to fill some holes right away, and there are a lot of them as far as what they had to work with. So moving forward, it's going to be more about trying to create the foundation with high school recruiting and then sprinkle in the transfer portal.
Well, to that point, Kirk, TCU has 48 new players, but 33 of them are from high school. Only 15 transfers. That's the second fewest in the Big 12. Caleb Hood has had a good start. He's a highly touted guy coming out of high school. He's battled some injuries here in Chapel Hill. Short gain on first down. Caleb Elarm's Orr with the stop.
Yeah, they've moved Kelly back, who was the center on that opening drive when they were right down the field. Freddie Kitchens now has called 11 plays in this game, 9 runs and only 2 passes. So again, we said in the outset of this broadcast, want to establish the runs, be physical, and then get your pass game and your RPO and play action game going.
Motion from Ship and nowhere to go. And the Horned Frog defense, which played much better over the second half of the season, is awake.
Yeah, good job. They keep collapsing off the edge, and here's a good job here of going up against a true freshman and just kind of working around him with good quickness. We've seen them collapsing, not necessarily needing to get their safeties and linebackers flying downhill to get out of position. They're winning the battle at the line of scrimmage here these last couple drives.
Well, after Carolina cut them up on the opening possession, haven't gotten much done since then. This is their second possession since the touchdown drive. 3rd and long for Gio. Feeling the heat, laying it out there. There are a couple of frogs in the area covering Chip, and pressure applied by Devin Deal. And it'll be 4th down, and the Heels will have to punt it away as the Horned Frog defense rises up.
Yeah, like I said, this is a Horned Frog defense that really struggled last year on 3rd down because a lot of it was 3rd and short and 3rd and manageable for the opposing offenses. Goal coming into this year is win 1st down, get them behind the sticks. In the first drive, we didn't see any of that. The last 2 drives, it's exactly what we saw, and it's worked out perfectly.
Kirk, they really couldn't stop the run last year. Their numbers as a pass defense very good a season ago, but it's mostly because people were able to run on them. Fair catch called for and made, and the Frogs will have it back after the 44-yard punt. The All-State bus here in Chapel Hill helping us keep up with all the action. Kirk, what was your All-State good hands play this week?
Boy, that game last night,
oh,
this may be the catch of the year. With Daniels going up like that, they reviewed it to make sure he held possession. I could watch that all day. Look at Notre Dame. They think they got a pick. No problem. Easy pick in the rain. Nope. Not with Daniels. Extending up with one hand, holds on to it. To me, I will be in December still looking back at that catch by him in that opening weekend. That was beautiful.
Transferred over to Daniels from LSU. He was a standout at Liberty. He really didn't get it going last year, but boy, he got it going with that,
and how about
play last night.
How about the ACC? Miami over Notre Dame, Florida State over Alabama, LSU and Clemson back and forth. LSU ended up winning it. Good start.
And not much running room. Jeremy Payne back in to run it for the Frogs, and good pursuit by the Carolina defense.
Again, multiple formations, that time going with a rare look with 2 backs in that backfield. North Carolina not confused at all. Good job of getting off of blocks and getting in there and getting physical.
Hoover completed all 4 of his passes on the last drive to 4 different receivers. Make it 5 in a row and another 1st down, and this time it's going to be the big tight end DJ Rogers making the grab.
Good action out of Hoover that time with the play action. Caught the linebackers out of position. Good throw right back into a tight window for the first down.
Man, is he fun to watch throw it,
yeah.
Isn't he? And go back to the ground. Kendall Briles really wants to be productive on the ground. Kavorian Barnes wrapped up by Leroy Jackson.
Yeah, Hoover, like a lot of these guys that play quarterback today, that that rotational throwing goes back to his baseball days. He ended up getting hurt in high school, which prevented him from continuing, unlike his brother who does play baseball still, but he had to give it up. But I think the end result is all that baseball that he played, the different arm angles, how easily the ball comes out of his hand, how natural it looks. He says it has a lot to do with baseball, just like you hear so many quarterbacks today talking about.
Well, time for Josh. Now he'll scramble out of there, and boy, he got sandwiched and took a hit from a couple of Tar Heels in there. Kamori House was among those to hit him. I talked to Josh's dad, Alex, talking about the baseball career, and he was a good pitcher. His brother's going to play corner outfield for either the other Carolina or the Carolina, depending on your perspective. He's going to South Carolina. That's Caleb.
Yeah, they're showing pressure here. You walk a safety up. He's seeing this concern. And so that's why he's making a check. Carolina may check out of that pressure, but it looks like they may still be coming.
Hoover over the middle, complete right at the 50-yard line. That's exactly where the first down marker is. Joseph Manjack, the transfer from Houston, makes the grab on what will be the final play of the quarter.
He recognized that pressure, made the check, got the right protection, and a good job by the receiver knowing exactly where he needed to go to get that first down.
That's the end of the first quarter.
What an opening full weekend it's been in college football, week one, and a great way to wrap it up on the night. Bill Belichick makes his college football head coaching debut. Presented by Modelo. Reese Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, Holly Rowan, our entire crew. Opening night for Bill Belichick, and they just turned the lights back on. It's a lights out opening drive for the Tar Heels. 83 yards, they went for a touchdown. Since then, they've mustered -6 yards of O. TCU has answered to score, and now Josh Hoover has them at midfield with a first down as we open the second quarter. One of the better runs of the night for TCU and Kavorian Barnes.
Again, TCU, an ability to get downhill with Barnes, and I think you got to give the offensive line some credit as well. Now they're working together, communicating, even on the road here, handling the different movement from Steve Belichick.
Barnes sticking his face in the fan, getting really close to the 40, which is the first down marker as we check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, they are going downhill with Kavorian Barnes. That's why they brought him in from UTSA, where he was the 2022 Conference USA Freshman of the Year. They said he's got super quick feet in the hole, and his contact balance allows him to run between the tackles. You've seen it. Sonny Dykes told us we went east and west way too much last year. This year, we're going north and south, and you see the commitment early in this game to run between the tackles.
Holly, he's a guy whose rushing totals have dropped the last 2 years. That's largely due to being banged up. Picture of health. He's been great in camp and off to a good start tonight. And there he goes again, breaking tackles, and he's down close to the 30-yard line. A pickup of 9.5 on first down.
Well, just a nice job again. I mean, we love to see what Barnes is doing, but I want to focus on the right side of this offensive line. Watch the job that they're doing here, working up on the double team. Watch the offensive line do what they need to do. Open it up. He finds the grass and picks up big yards.
This time Carolina's in the backfield, but they can't get the big fella down. Spinning away from Tar Heels. He's got the first down, and he's down to the 27. Smith Vilbert was there trying to make the tackle, and Barnes ran right through it.
Low center gravity, bouncing off. I mean, Carolina had penetration. He looks like he's down for about a 2-yard loss. Spins out of that, breaks another arm tackle. Belichick and Steve Belichick will not like that tackling on that second and short.
Hoover lays it out there right on the money, and making the catch is DJ Rogers again, his second catch of the night.
Yeah, free release there, able to get out, allows the quarterback to be able to throw in rhythm. puts the ball out in front, anticipates well. Second time we've seen the big tight end Rodgers get his hands on the football. 6'4", 250. Continuing to move the formations, personnel groupings, try to affect the communication with this Carolina defense.
Picked up 14, now first down from the 13. And maybe a little miscommunication. Was looking for Dwyer, and it's incomplete, and there's a flag down on the play.
Yeah, flag came in late. They're going to call it on offense. Marcus Allen saying, what did I do? You know, I think
he already got nabbed for one he didn't like.
Offense, 15-yard penalty, repeat second down.
I thought initially 7 there in the slot. He's kind of flattening out his route. He ended up trying to work through the defender, kind of pushing with that left arm. So they'll bring the Horned Frogs back. They were, these last couple drives, really playing within a rhythm, mixing up the looks, mixing up the personnel groupings, throwing about 6 or 7 different targets. But after that interference, they're going to have to make up some yardage here.
First and 25. They've got to get it to the 3 for the first down. Hoover fires. He'll get some of it right there, right on the money. Is Dwyer working on Allen, and at the moment, with the exception of that OPI, he's getting the better of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's showing a lot of confidence in the transfer from Idaho. A really nice job working on a one-on-one route. Picks up a lot of yards there after that interference. Gives him a real shot here in these next few plays to get this first down.
Hoover again complete. Again, it's Dwyer. They'll mark him out of bounds right at the 10. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 7.
9 straight completions. Carolina, after that interference, last couple plays, giving a cushion out there on islands, but not uptight pressing to disrupt the timing. Working a little bit off ball, and Hoover recognizing that back into the boundary twice, able to come up with a couple completions, and now a real shot here on 3rd down.
Tar Heel Trout trying to help the D. Hoover feeling a little pressure. Gets away. Josh firing to the end zone. Catches May, but its ball comes loose late. It's incomplete. Tar Heel stuck as he tried to get the ball to Chase Curtis. And the Heels were all over, and Coleman Bryson was there.
Don't get me wrong. It's a lot easier to sit up here and see this, but this is one that you'd think that he might see with the back kind of leaking, but he set up. He's going to make this throw into that corner, but the running back kind of leaked out late, and he would have walked into the end zone, but he tried to squeeze it in to the big tight end, Curtis.
There's one area, Kirk, that they felt like was one that Josh could improve in. Decisions, seeing the field outside the pocket. Didn't make that play, so it'll be a 27-yard field goal attempt, depending on this flag.
You got movement on the right side by the offense.
False start. Kicking team number 70. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
So we'll make it 32 instead. On the field goal attempt from Kyle Lemmerman, who last year was 15 out of 22. 3 out of 5 from this distance last year. We'll call it a long 32 as he tries to give TCU the lead. Kick on the way, it is true, and TCU has scored 10 straight, and they've taken it every level. We've had him on game day a few times.
Yep.
Knows the history of the game inside out. Dad's a longtime assistant coach at the college level. His regular season debut in the college ranks. Chris Culliver going to bring it out. Mentioned early how dangerous he can be, but Culliver's going to be tripped up short of the 25.
Well, that opening drive for North Carolina was pretty. 83-yard drive. They went a lot of jumbos. which was interesting to go with that look. Got Hood going with that look. They were able to control the line of scrimmage. Also, most importantly, set up good play action. See the linebackers and safeties getting downhill, expecting run, get lost in that deeper crosser. Able to put that right on the money to one, Jordan Shipp, and then here again, that jumbo look off to the right, able to win things. And it looked like they were going to have a big night offensively, still might, but the next 2 drives since then, 6 plays, negative 11 yards, both 3 and out. Let's see what they do here on their 4 series.
Gil Lopez pulls it. He's going to take a shot down the field. He was trying to get it to Alex Taylor. There's a little hand fighting there, chanting Canada out there for TCU, no flags.
Yeah, Channing Canada does a really good job here of just kind of getting right into the face of the receiver, stride for stride, right in his pocket there, able to locate the football late. And when you're in phase like that, you're able to get away with a little bit of hand guarding and touching there a little bit. If you're behind and you do that, they'll call it every time, especially if you don't locate the football.
Davion Gauss in at running back now. Lopez trying to run quarterback draw, and TCU is having none of it. And it'll be another 3rd and long. Paul Oyewale and Marcus Deal were there to stop it.
Yeah, that time Kelly just got overwhelmed right in the middle of your screen. This is a quarterback's worst nightmare. They only rushed 3. Just power rushed him, bull rushed, just pushed him back into the backfield. Nice job by Marcus Deal. And again, I go back to the goal of the entire offseason, getting more negative plays, whether it's sacks or tackles for a loss, getting teams behind the sticks, and we've seen that now. 3 straight series for the Horned Frogs defense and Andy Avalos.
Hood and Hall, running backs on either side of Lopez. And no running room for the Michigan transfer, and it'll be a 3 and out as Nnamdi Obiazor made the stop for TCU.
You know, 3rd and long, run the football, and this defense, you know, you keep contained, not fooled at all. Good job of using that sideline. No chance at all. That's 3 straight 3 and outs for TCU.
Boy, since that opening drive, Kurt, they've got 83 yards. The subsequent 3 drives, they've lost 5. McGinnis punts it away. Dwyer signals for the fair catch and makes it right around his 31-yard line. So the TCU offense goes back to work behind Josh Hoover after the 46-yard games where he really knew exactly what he had. He certainly wasn't punting on this game, but the growth was going to take a while, and some of that would be game action.
You know, you bring 70 new players in, even if you're the greatest coach to ever do it, it's going to take some time to gel. It takes some time to really understand what you have, like you said. The way this game started, it looked like, you know, he didn't want to say they were good yet, but they looked pretty good.
I know what
to all of us.
I know what was good, that opening script.
Yeah.
And the blocking.
Yeah, no preseason football, which he's used to.
Hoover fires out. He has another completion to Dwyer. Holly Belichick, hardly a figurehead during practice.
No, we were wondering how hands-on he'd be with this team, and I can tell you this, on their final walkthrough last night, they're going over special team situations, and none other than Bill Belichick is acting at the scout team long snapper. Yes, he was snapping the football, making sure his team was ready for every situation on special team. He has been totally hands-on.
And he has. You've seen a lot of the video of practice and him teaching fundamentals, which is one of the things he feels like they need to do if they're going to achieve the goal of being like the 33rd NFL franchise, which has been the calling card because they've recruited very well.
Yep. You know, one of the things that the NFL is about is finding matchups, creating those matchups, and attacking them. And, you know, Steve and Bill Belichick obviously very, very dialed in on that. And what I've seen from Kendall Briles is going away from the corner, number 1, Thaddeus Dixon, and going after either Marcus Allen or now Conley, who's in the game, 26, into the boundary on that left side of the offense.
Rare incompletion on first down from Hoover. Briles puts it back on the ground. Andrew Simpson makes the stop, the transfer from Boise State.
You know, Simpson and House give them 2 really good linebackers because of the versatility. And watch how he finishes on this play. Able to beat the guard, bang. And it's a back that's been getting downhill, and that time this offense going sideways after that big hit.
3rd down and 9 for Hoover. Josh dancing away, keeping his eyes downfield. Oh my goodness, he threaded that in there. What a catch by Dwyer along the sideline.
But Dwyer does a good job of working back. I think he's running his route. Now he sees his quarterback's in trouble. He didn't have much of a choice here. That ball was on him in a hurry. By the time he got off of Conley, that ball hits him right in the right shoulder. Just a laser from Hoover.
Back to the ground with Jeremy Payne.
Yeah, you talked about how Hoover, he's known for his ability to throw in rhythm from the pocket. Here, he puts that right to the outside, and if his guy's not going to make a play on that, it's going to go out of bounds. But I mean, Dwyer tried to work back, tried to get away from the corner, but the football, the way it was thrown, it just hit him right, like I said, on that right shoulder.
His off-target rate when he leaves the pocket way up last year. That was right on target as they're back to the ground on 2nd down. They'll stop him 2 or 3 yards short of the first 3rd down coming.
One of the intriguing matchups in this game was Hoover and his receivers, which I think they would tell you is a real strength for Kendall Briles, going up against Steve Belichick in the back end of, with all these new faces. The one thing I think they felt pretty good about is the back 7, and especially what they could do in that secondary. So it's been good against good.
Need 2 on 3rd down. To the ground. He'll pick it up. It was Jeremy Payne running right behind the offensive line.
Yep, Cade Bennett, the left guard, picked up that inside linebacker blitz. Did a good job of pushing him to the inside and gave Payne enough room to get up in there. That was a lot of traffic, but with that block by the left guard 60, he's able to find enough room for that 1st down.
Now from the 23, Horned Frogs threatening again. Hoover pumps to the outside, the good feet to get away. Josh scrambling, now he gets rid of it on the outside and turns a potential negative play into a positive. And there's Dwyer with his 6th catch on the 6th target of the night.
Well, he got pressured, but he misses one right down the sideline. That's an easy touchdown, but you got to give credit to the pass rush. Because if he would have been able to locate that, Bailey just walks into the end zone, but there was pressure. His eyes had to go down, so he misses Bailey, who was kind of a little bit of a stutter before he went on the wheel route down the sideline.
Little running room for Payne off the right side. We'll bring up another 3rd down.
Yeah, it is tough, but with the looks and the tempo and the different jersey numbers that are coming in and out. Talk about a tough first game for Bill Belichick and Steve Belichick when it comes to communication. It's one thing to prep it in August. You think you have an idea, then there's different formations, there's different personnel, and it's very easy with the tempo mixed into that to lose a guy or have your eyes in the wrong spot against Kendall Briles' system.
Kavorian Barnes, the running back, split out wide to the right, empty on 3rd and 4. Screen, and that one's off target and intercepted. Caleb Cost.
Rolling on the field is an interception. First down, North Carolina.
Well, this is the area that Hoover really wanted to, again, get better. He kind of falls off of this throw. Felt the pressure there by House 7, and he had to put the ball high. By putting it high, that's a very dangerous throw. Goes off the hands of Bailey, and what an effort to be able to come up with that interception by Caleb Cost.
House transferred from Washington, where he played for Steve Belichick last year, and he makes a huge play. North Carolina just got an interception. Kept TCU from building this lead. Great pressure from Maury House. Caleb Cost with a pick. And now back to work. And they haven't gotten anything done the last 3 times they've had the football. Leo Lopez under center. I'll try it on the ground. Benjamin Hall picks up a few.
We kind of noticed Bill Belichick frustrated after this interception. It goes back to the scramble. Watch the hold by the TCU offensive line. 2 of them right there, a grab. You can see the left side as well. So he's excited about the interception. He's like, all right, we got the ball back. Yes. And then he's like, come on, man. Somebody, I need to talk to somebody. We kept our cameras on him, and we were at the break. We noticed he was frustrated. We went back, and Holly was all over it down there, noticing that he was frustrated during that scramble to the right of Hoover. There were a couple of holds. We went back and looked, and clearly, even after the pick, he's still letting the officials know that he's frustrated about those two missed holding calls.
Carolina, which ran it so well on that opening drive, tougher sledding now. Hall picks up maybe 1.
Boy, they're really starting to cheat down against this run game these last few series. Really almost challenging Gio Lopez and his group of wide receivers. It shows a lot of confidence they have on the back end. Ship, #1 for North Carolina. He can beat you one-on-one, but who else can? Who else can be that guy to help out, to try to take this defense and try to sit them back a little bit? Right now they're playing downhill.
Got to get it to the 29 on 3rd down. Lopez to the outside, and it's intercepted. And it's going to be a walk-in touchdown for the veteran Bud Clark. His 12th career pick, and TCU gets the ball right back and punches it in for 6. He is the leader of this defense. He had a pick 6 in that college football playoff semifinal against Michigan when they went to the national championship game. Might have celebrated early.
Well, he baited the young quarterback Lopez, being a veteran safety. He gave a big cushion to make him feel like he's got the easy throw for the 1st down.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Scoring team number 21. 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. That's number 21's first unsportsmanlike foul of the game.
Bud got a little over exuberant. He is now just 1 interception away from TCU's all-time record, and a costly turnover for Gio Lopez and the Tar Heels here inside 4 minutes to play in the 1st half.
With Bud Clark completely showing his experience and just baiting Lopez on that 3rd down play to think he had what he needed for the 1st down. 3rd and about 5. He had a cushion at about 7 or 8 yards. Gave him a pre-snap look like you've got what you need, and then broke out it.
Lemmerman's extra point splits the uprights, and the Horned Frogs up 17-7.
Yeah, Bud Clark is, like I said, a veteran guy. He's played a lot of football. He's just kind of sitting back here waiting to see if he can bait the quarterback into a throw, and then does a good job of breaking on the ball, almost anticipating that this throw is coming out, and then just steps in front. I mean, like I said, that's experience, that's great athletic ability, and then that's knowing the down and distance. Knows exactly where he needs to be because he knows where the sticks are. He knows the ball's going to be coming out right around the sticks at the 29-yard line, and just timed it up perfectly.
It's an important thing for this defense when Bud decided to come back to play another year instead of going to the pros. Quickly turned on Belichick after Carolina stopped the drive with an interception.
Surprised we've not seen a little bit more of Gio Lopez, quarterback in the run game. You know, whether it's zone read, quarterback power, just something to try to even the numbers at the line of scrimmage. Really hasn't run the ball at all today. He's got 3 carries for -14 yards. A lot of that's just sack yards. So I think we saw maybe the opening drive one time it was a design run, but would be surprised to see Freddie Kitchens maybe go to that. Try to slow down this confident TCU defense.
And North Carolina a chance with good field position. The kickoff coming from the 20. And Culliver's going to get it to the 35 as we check in with Holly.
Well, after the opening drive, TCU's defense has really shut things down for North Carolina. Sonny Dykes told us just how challenging it was to prepare for this team. He said 70 new players, a lot of new coaches. We were trying to pull film for everybody. And then he was out golfing with Denver Broncos head coach Sean Payton, and Payton said, hey, if you thought about the quarterback run game, go back and look at what he did against Cam Newton when he was with the Patriots. So Sonny goes back and pulls that video, and now you've seen it. They've done a good job tonight against the running quarterback of Gio Lopez every time he's run. So shout out to Sean Payton.
Giving tips, getting any tip you can get when you got 70 new players in an opening week.
And Sonny also checked with a couple of Bills' former players that have Texas Tech ties, as he does. I asked him, who are they going to be loyal to? You and the alma mater of Danny Amendola, Wes Welker, or Belichick? He felt pretty good about it. The common thread was Bill's going to do what Bill does.
Go back to that jumbo look that was effective in the opening drive with 6 offensive linemen. Worked on that left side where they had those 3 linemen to the left of the center. Got to push anyway.
Hood and Hall together with Lopez in the backfield. It'll be Hall looking for the edge. He's got the first down, and Benjamin Hall takes it up to the 48-yard line. Devin Deal with the stop, 10-yard pickup.
And the 2 backs there together, they feel that Benjamin Hall could be the most talented back that they have. Good worker, just a complete back to transfer over from Michigan. That time both of them in the backfield, and in fact that play worked so well. The threat to the quarterback run in there and a lead blocker. Yeah, when they get that going, you can go back to 1st and 10, play action or RPO.
Lopez under center. It's Hood. Caleb Hood gets it into TCU territory to the 49.
It's funny you say that. I mean, it just tells you where we are. Bill Belichick leaves the NFL, where, of course, majority of the time his teams, his quarterbacks would always huddle, and he comes into college, he picks up Gio Lopez as his quarterback, and Gio Lopez has never huddled. High school, college at South Alabama, he's looking over at signs. It's been a learning experience for him. It's different. You know, you got to command the huddle. You're looking into the eyes of 10 teammates, and you got to call the play and say it in a way that you believe that this play is going to work. So it's been a work in progress, and done a good job with the different coaches, especially Matt Lombardi, his quarterback coach, and helping him develop to become more of a complete quarterback.
Tar Heel legends on hand. Look ahead to Michigan and Oklahoma.
They look serious.
They'll be there.
They look very serious.
It's casual Monday for Desmond. No ties.
It is.
North Carolina trying to put something on the board before the half. Gio Lopez pulls it down, going to run with it. Gio is knocked down just short of the 45. Jamel Johnson's had himself a game tonight. He's been very active with this Frog defense.
Yeah, Johnson that time just mirroring the quarterback, almost like a spy. You know, the last time Gio Lopez had completed a pass was 8:12 Eastern, which was
over an hour ago.
Yeah, hour and whatever.
14 minutes.
14 minutes. Let's get a completion. Let's get a quick slant here and put that to bed.
He's just 0 for 3, though. They've only thrown it 3 times since that opening drive. They have not converted a 3rd down yet. 0 for 4.
Now they're trying to
do it here.
Trying to go empty here to get the numbers for him, maybe on a quarterback draw, but they're blitzing.
They got it snapped and it rolled to him. Gio going to fire it deep. He's looking for Shep out there, and all over him with excellent coverage was Austin Jordan.
Well, the timing is off because the snap bounced back to the quarterback. Now you got the slot fade, but really good coverage. I'm telling you, TCU with the speed they have on the back end, that was Jordan, the transfer from Texas. They just don't feel threatened, and they have been stride for stride in phase on those deep balls.
Kirk, that's why we've brought up the center a couple of times tonight. That was Chad Lindbergh. We're certainly not picking on him. He's a transfer from Rice. He's never done it before, and they were concerned about the shotgun snap.
Especially on 3rd down.
Yeah, that one didn't quite get there. Now they've got a problem handling the snap, and a really good job to get that punt out of there by Tom McGinnis. Almost had a Sean McDonough trouble with the snap moment there.
Pretty good job to recover.
Yeah, it was.
And just like you say, just to recover that and get it out. But actually, the snap was actually, from what I saw, pretty good.
Yeah,
just off to his right, just slipped through his hands.
Yeah.
Lucky it bounced off his thigh, gave him a chance, and boy, so close.
How about that? Australian, though, that was a little bit of Australian rules football there.
Yeah, it was.
At least he didn't do that hand pass thing. That would not have worked out well. A little bit of frustration there. And of course, special teams. Bill's baby. You know, he loves special teams. Worked very hard on them, but that was just an unfortunate operator error for McGinnis. Could have been much, much worse. But now with 53 seconds, TCU has it 80 yards away from the end zone. First down completion.
Well, you got a veteran quarterback, a good group of receivers. You got 3 timeouts. So even though they're starting at their own 20, they're thinking at the very least trying to get into field goal range, especially with Kendall Briles' aggressive mindset.
DJ Rogers, that big tight end, they were really high on his ability and potential. He has 3 catches tonight. That one picked up 5. And stopped the clock getting out of bounds. Here's Hoover on second down. Throw it underneath. And Barnes out of the backfield. Picks up the first down. TCU, this is how you start a late drive in the half. You get that first down. Now you can start attacking.
And Eric McAllister won for TCU. They're probably their best receiver, 6'3". He's been moving inside and outside. And everywhere he goes, Thaddeus Dixon is following him. So it's one-on-one. 2 of the better players on the field. Carolina not leaving McAllister alone.
They'll go to the ground this time with a full complement of timeouts. They can afford to try to pop one, and they'll use a timeout here with 36 seconds to play in the first half. DeAndre Robinson, big transfer from Florida.
TCU, their first charge of the half. 30 seconds in length. 56th season of Monday Night Football is on the way. September 8th, Vikings and Bears, 8 Eastern time on ESPN, ABC, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new app. Peyton and Eli back on ESPN2. Scott Van Pelt and the guys start coverage with Monday Night Countdown. Their crew at Soldier Field, that'll crank up at 6 o'clock Eastern time, 5 in the greater Chicagoland area.
Yeah, Ben Johnson leaving Detroit as the offensive coordinator, becomes the head coach to help Caleb Williams. Got some good pieces around Caleb Williams. It's going to be exciting to see what the Bears can do. J.J. McCarthy era starting in Minnesota. What a great way to open up Monday Night Football. That'll be a good one.
Well, Ramsey's and the fellas here in Chapel Hill really need to keep TCU from tacking on some more points. A 17-7 lead. The Frogs have scored the last 17 after Carolina took the opening kickoff, marched right down the field, went up 7-0. Since then, it's been all TCU. Another completion to Dwyer, who keeps his feet, heads for the boundary very wisely, and the clock stops with 31 to go.
And I don't know it officially, but they continue to go away from one. Thaddeus Dixon back to the boundary against Allen and Conley. A lot of times, like I said, you know, you've seen Dwyer get his opportunities. He has 7 receptions to lead to lead TCU. Most of it's been up against number 29 with the soft cushion into the boundary. It's almost like Carolina's okay with giving that up. They just won't want to give up the potential explosive play. That's why they got Thaddeus Dixon following McAllister everywhere.
Hoover pulls it, has a completion. It's Manjack on the grab, the transfer from Houston, and now all of a sudden they are right there on the edge of field goal range with 24 ticks to go. Pickup of 18.
Yeah, Deary, the center, gets a little bit downfield there on that RPO. The linebacker came down. Good decision by Hoover.
Hoover again. There goes Barnes racing for the sideline and gets out of bounds. Clock stopped with 13 seconds to play.
You know, and kind of the year of the quarterback as far as inexperienced quarterbacks. 7 of the top 10 this past weekend had quarterbacks for the first time starting at that school. It's just another example of having a veteran quarterback, a guy that's played a lot for his school, understands, hey, we're at our own 20. We got 3 timeouts. I've got, you know, at the beginning of the drive, 3 timeouts, able to kind of navigate, move down the field, easily in field goal range.
First down, another catch for the tight end, DJ Rogers.
I mean, it's like everything they do his mind's working quick enough that he quickly has an answer. So not only have they moved into field goal range, 9 seconds left, still the one timeout. You think you'd like to think of maybe taking a shot or two, maybe into the end zone.
Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 10 seconds.
We'll see how they've scored. Caleb Hood, who opened the drive with a 9-yard run, finished a 7-play, 83-yard drive with a touchdown. This was just a spectacular throw from Hoover to Dwyer.
It really got Hoover going, and I think the TCU offense. And on the other side, Gio Lopez, after that opening drive, just trying to find the footing in the rhythm to their own offense. And that pick six obviously put them in an even bigger hole. But it's been an impressive drive here to end this first half by TCU.
What do you expect to see in terms, you got to assume they're taking at least one shot to the end zone. What are they going to try to do?
Well, you could go 4 birds. You just want to take some shots and try to create some vertical space here in a tight window inside the 20. If he gets rid of it quick enough, maybe you have 1 play for sure with a 1 timeout, maybe 2, depending how quickly he gets it out of his hands.
To your point, he's been masterful on the drive. Throwing it to the end zone, good coverage over there. Nothing doing, 6 ticks left. And that time they did go at Dixon, and that's probably why they've been avoiding him. And Sonny Dykes not going to mess around with this. I think he's going to send out the field goal unit.
It's important that Carolina come up with that stop and not give up the touchdown, obviously. And a big part of it is not only you down 10, potentially down 13, TCU gets the ball to start the second half as well.
Lemmerman looked really smooth during the warm-ups. This is a new surface. 33-yard attempt. He's made 1 tonight. And now he has made 2 with a 20-7 lead after Lemmerman caps off that waning moments of the first half drive. And the Horned Frogs will get the ball to start the second half. It looked for a second as if there might be a second or 2 remaining on the clock here in the first half, but they've let it expire, and both teams are headed to the locker room. So TCU has scored 20 consecutive points, and Holly Rowe is with Sonny.
Nothing, and for really from that point on, everything has changed drastically, favoring Josh Hoover and the TCU Horned Frogs. Really played well in every aspect, and look at what Josh Hoover's been able to do. First of all, he's 20 of 25. He's been able to play in rhythm, making quick decisions, very decisive, been very accurate. And when he's had time and he's had to work through his progressions, shown a lot of maturity. He's a veteran guy that's played a lot of football, especially a year ago. And here's the accuracy. Used the motion to move the defensive back, creates one-on-one down that left sideline. Look at that throw. Right over the left shoulder, and a touchdown to the transfer, Jordan Dwyer. And they're in rhythm. You throw in the interception, pick 6 by Bud Clark. Comfortable 13-point lead. And in my opinion, the way that first half went, it's a big drive for the North Carolina defense.
That was the Capital One rewarding performance, and this is a rewarding run as Kevorian Barnes is out the gate, inside the 30, to the 10. Touchdown TCU, 75 yards and no flags.
As I finished a sentence about how big of a drive this is for the North Carolina defense, Kendall Briles and company said it's a pretty big drive for us. We got a shot here. And by the way, great blocking downfield, great effort by Eric McAllister, who you'll see helped spring this loose to make this instead of a 20-yard gain, but a play that goes all the way to the house. But the guards did a nice job of picking up the blocks, and that opened up. And this is an offense, again, that focused on becoming more physical, more balanced. We got to be able to run the ball for this offense to work, and it's a great way to start this second half.
That makes it a pretty good TCU debut for Barnes, who was a Conference USA Freshman of the Year at UTSA and has a career-long touchdown run.
Watch the guard kick out here. Other guard will come down and pick up this safety. It opens up very nicely. See the first guard right there? Boom, that's Bruno. Backside guard here, Bennett. Watch him work up to the safety. Hat on a hat and downhill running. And then we'll watch one on the left there. Look at McAllister hustling downfield. Great job, great effort. Love to see it from a receiver who's known for his ability to make catches. But that's an offensive line that's been playing with confidence throughout this game. And a good job at a transfer from UTSA. Not just bringing downhill physicality, showing you he can take it to the house. Good job by his teammates opening that up.
The longest rush for TCU since 2022 when they played for the national championship. Kendall Briles said he wanted to run the football.
I was going to say, how great is it when you work in an off season? You got 7-8 months to try to get through winter conditioning and spring football and into camp. You have a goal of where we need to get better, and then you see it play out right before your eyes in an opening game against Bill Belichick.
10 carries, 111 yards. They were really impressed with the way he played in camp. They wanted him to seize that running back position to give them more of the downhill runner that Holly talked about in the first half. Went downhill and then hit the seam and turned on the speed. Now, see if North Carolina can answer. Dangerous return man is Chris Culliver, but TCU has done a really good job of containing him on returns tonight as we go down to Holly.
Well, guys, coming out of the locker room, the North Carolina players were yelling, start over, trying to get some energy back for this second half. But after that long touchdown run, it kind of took the air out over here on the Tar Heel sideline. The offensive line just started clapping. They've got to get out there and make some noise. They did such a good job on that opening drive. They want to get back to being able to run the football right now. But they need some energy right here. You can see them trying to take the field now.
Holly, since that opening drive, they've run 17 plays, gained 20 yards, 1 first down, haven't converted a third down, punted 4 times, and thrown a pick 6.
Haven't completed a pass since that opening drive.
Lopez wanted to take a shot, had it covered up. Gio slips away from a couple and going to pick up 2 or 3 before Nnamdi Obiazor makes the stop. Ansel Dimbo was the one who applied the pressure and flushed him out.
Yeah, TCU had been mixing up their looks, trying to create some confusion for the transfer from South Alabama. And when he has been back there to throw, they've mixed in some man and some zone, make him hold that football and allow the front four to be able to get some pressure.
Pick up a 3 on the scramble, 2nd down and 7. Lopez. Get a couple in the 3rd down play coming, about 5 to go.
Keep talking about what TCU emphasized and wanted to get better at, and we talked a lot about their offense, but their defense, it was about being better on early downs and trying to get some plays to create negative plays for the opposing offense, to be able to crank up Andy Avalos, to be able to get exotic and multiple with his package on 3rd down. It's been working. North Carolina 0 for 5 on 3rd down so far in this game.
Weren't great last season under the previous regime. Boy, do they need to stay on the field on offense here. Benjamin Hall was greeted almost as soon as he got the football. Paul Oyewale was in the backfield. Hall had nowhere to go, and it's another 4th down for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, and this is just this is a blitz package right here. Watch the center 53 get pushed back. You know, the linebacker doesn't make the play, but just by pushing him back into the play, it makes the back have to redirect, and then allows the rest of the defense to swarm to the football.
Tom McGinnis, we saw him mishandle a snap earlier. Pulls that one in cleanly and gets away a nice punt. And, Dwyer almost misjudged that thing, but backpedaled and made the grab, and TCU will have it back at its own 15-yard line after the 51-yard. Lawrence Taylor, North Carolina legend, was a big reason why. Belichick loves LT. They were together. They came by our College Game Day basketball show when they were here in the spring, and there is one of the greatest to ever play defense at any level of football. Lawrence Taylor. I think he's the best.
I think he's the best. Yeah. There's some great ones.
Yeah.
Man, LT.
Well, speaking of LT, we've got TCU running backs suddenly looking like their version of LT. Jeremy Payne meeting LaDainian Tomlinson. You know, the last time North Carolina and TCU played, LaDainian Tomlinson, freshman year, held it 45 yards. TCU lost. They were trying to get their first victory over Carolina in a 20-point lead early in the third.
Last time TCU had a 100-yard running back was Imani Bailey back in the 23 season. He had 150 yards, and tonight Barnes had already at 111 after that big run.
Two backs in there, Trent Battle in there with Jeremy Payne now, as Barnes after that long run's getting a rest. And Payne is a guy that they've tried to use like that a couple of times tonight. He is a good receiver. Caught a dozen balls a year ago.
No, it's week one, and there's a lot of hype. Everyone's excited, you and I included, about Bill Belichick coming into college football. 70 new players. You're down 27-7. This game's been going sideways since the opening drive. So when you look at TCU, you got Bud Clark, you got Josh Hoover, you got a veteran team. You know, you got some players that you can count on for leadership. With 70 new players, when you get down 20 in the opening week, who's that guy? Who are the leaders of this team that can help you believe you can fight back and get back into this game?
Hoover drains the play clock, and then it's a quick completion. There's Payne. He's got a first down. He's up to the 45-yard line. This is a much different response as you look at Belichick than the way TCU played against Colorado a couple years ago.
Yeah, and a big thing with any defense is leveraging the football. And North Carolina does a pretty good job of that. Look at those two defenders. He splits them. That's poor tackling by North Carolina. You know, and I think Bill Belichick and Steve Belichick, they really pride themselves, whether it's NFL or college, you know, in this day and age where some head coaches, they don't believe in that. You know, they want to be careful of not tackling too much, especially in camp, getting ready for week one. In North Carolina, they want to be tough. They want to be fundamentally sound and all the things they work on. So that's area that they're going to have to really improve. Once again, another missed tackle and yards after the catch. They continue to not go at Thaddeus Dixon and go right towards Marcus Allen. And he's got these TCU, the receivers are making 29 in blue. Whether he sits back and gives a cushion or he gets up tight, they're working at him.
And there's a drop. That ball was right on target. Manjack, who we saw make a big grab earlier, drops that one. You know, Joseph missed some time in camp. He had a bad case of poison ivy, went river rafting, had to take some antibiotics for it, didn't stay out of the sun like he was supposed to, got way worse, cost him practice time. That couldn't be pleasant.
No. I'm one of those guys, if I look at poison ivy, I got it. So I'm not enjoying that story.
Oh, Payne's enjoying that run, but there is a flag, or a couple of them down there. The TCU is starting to lean on them, but there's a penalty here.
I could have gotten that on either guy, either Taylor Whitfield or the receiver, Manjack, 14.
Offense number 14, 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Haven't seen too many mistakes. You know, I mean, Purple's not been going backwards much at all. I mean, this has been, you can see the quarterback, when we have tight shots of his face, there's 14 on the edge, they're just grabbing onto the safety, and that's Bryce in there that he throws down. But anytime you look at the quarterback, you look in his eyes, you can just see the confidence that he's playing with. It gives you an idea what kind of night the offense is having. Josh Hoover in this offense, definitely after the opening drive, they've found a rhythm. He's 24 of 30 for 227.
On 2nd and 20, Hoover just loops it out of bounds. 3rd and 20. With more on poison ivy, here's Holly Rowe.
Well, you know, we become experts in these things, but what we didn't know, I didn't realize, is just how susceptible it is to spreading. So if you have any contact with other people, it can spread quickly. So when he came back to practice, they did not want it spreading throughout the team. So they said he was out there practicing in what looked like a beekeeper outfit, head to toe covered, so there wasn't any contact spread of the poison ivy amongst his teammates.
I'm chuckling, but I wasn't the one scratching and looking for calamine lotion. 3rd down and 20. Hoover right down the middle, a dart, and close to the first down marker. That's Chase Curtis. They call him the heart and soul of this team, and he's a little slow to get up. It's a pickup of 21. Boy, did he take a shot, Kirk.
Yeah, he really did. What you see is a linebacker that ends up blitzing, showing blitz, dropping, and the result is look at the open space. Nobody reroutes him. He's just walking. That's almost like against air. The big hit comes in there late. But you can see all that space in the middle of that defense. Good quick read by Hoover and being decisive to get that ball out of his hands. And how about Curtis holding on to that ball despite that big hit?
Check on Curtis when you come back.
Hey, come out.
Now the question also came up about targeting, but there's no indicator here. There was no launch. There was no upward thrust.
No defensive player.
No.
And
just two guys that ran into each other.
Okay.
There has to be an indicator, and there's no indicator.
Right, and even so, you know, the helmet's hit, and there's a larger area on top now. It wasn't really the crown of the helmet.
No.
That hit. So, you know what?
Surprised Bill Belichick didn't challenge that.
I actually think it was the right call.
Do you?
Football move, and he fell on the fumble.
What is a football move?
Well, ask Clemson. Into the open field goes
That's a
battle.
move.
There's a football
That's
move
a
right
football
into the end zone. A 28-yard run. And the heels are getting the boot put right to their backside.
They've got these backs that are doing their job, but again, you got to give credit to the offensive line, the communication that they're utilizing up front. Big tight end DJ Rogers gets involved. It's the same play that they're able to spring the big long run in the first play of the second half. This time they ran the same play to the left.
33-7, and Lemmerman is on for the extra point. Battle's first carry turned out to be quite productive. Number 34 gives them 34 points.
Bruno and Bennett, the guards, are going to pull. You'll see both 60, 62 getting outside. I love the motion, which takes another defender with them. And now it's just guys doing their job and making blocks. See the two guards get out there? It's the exact same play we saw for the touchdown. And this time they're able to run it to the left. Look at the block by Zero, the tight end. Watch him work up, gets to the backer. And then you bring in a back that hasn't carried the ball much tonight. He's got great speed, kind of a do-it-all back in battle. That's 170 yards rushing on the night, 157 of those between the tackles.
Well, the story coming into this game was certainly when you have someone who is an iconic figure in all of football, Bill Belichick, that's the story. But as you take a step back in a 34-7 game and you look at a TCU team with a veteran quarterback, top 30 or so in terms of continuity with our buddy Bill Connolly's chart, which is sort of like returning production and counting in transfers. Team that won 9 games and finished strong last year. TCU could be making a statement that they're going to have to be reckoned with in the Big 12.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, we've been talking quite a bit about the offense, but the defense with Andy Avalos now in their second year in the system, he's fired up because they've been playing well. They've been getting some plays for negative yards, allowing their third down package to get creative, winning the battle at the line of scrimmage, relying on Bud Clark to bait here on 3rd and 6, jumping this route after showing the cushion, knowing exactly what he's doing to an inexperienced quarterback, and coming up with a pick 6. So this has been a masterpiece by Sonny Dykes. Talking to him on the field, always get a chance to talk to the coaches. He said, make no mistake, we feel disrespected coming into this game. And he goes, I love Bill Belichick. I know this is all about him coming into college football. But my guys, they feel like no one even knows that they're here to play this game. And they're playing with a chip on their shoulder tonight.
Hey, brother, they know now. They know now. Gio Lopez, he had a completion and it just popped away from Chris Culliver, and it's been that kind of night.
Boy, he did such a great job of playing off the quarterback scramble. He's way to the right. Quarterback scrambles to his left, sees him, and he just drops the football. Hands got a little bit, it's almost like instead of putting the thumbs together to catch the ball, he was trying to do it almost like an alligator hands catch, and it just slipped right through his fingers.
It's now been 2 hours and 7 minutes since North Carolina completed a pass. Caleb Hood in the backfield. Lopez gets hit, and that's a strike that he threw in there nicely to Hood. Hood took a big hit, 15 yards. He's a little slow to get up.
Lopez took a big hit too right when he threw the football. He got annihilated. Good job of staying focused for Hood to get the ball out. But right there as he released it, good job of getting it and putting it on that outside shoulder to give Hood a chance there. But we can finally take that clock of 8:12 off the board. We got another completion.
Haven't seen a lot of that real-time counting clock between completions.
I can't recall us ever doing that.
You guys get fancy. Here's Gio coming out and talking a little communication with his receivers as we go to Holly.
Well, you talked about TCU, Sonny Dykes, having a chip on their shoulder. People aren't talking about them. Well, they had a bad experience like this once before when Deion Sanders was their opening game when he's playing for the first time with Colorado. And Sonny Dykes said, I just felt like we didn't handle it well. We let our players get caught up in all that hype. So they actually talked to the team last week, showed them a video of who Bill Belichick is, but then from then on, worry about yourself, worry about us, and let's not get caught up in all this hype machine.
They certainly have it. Since that opening drive, they have thoroughly dominated and whipped this team. This is the game that Holly was referring to, Deion Sanders' first game as head coach. Sonny sort of said, hey, look, I respect their players, but I don't know if they're going to have Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter out there. Remember, Travis made a spectacular interception in the red zone in that game, in Colorado won 45-42.
And like you and Holly are saying, I think a big part of that, he was just saying the buzz of it.
Right.
There's so much buildup with Coach Prime being in Boulder and that first game, and it was almost, they were an afterthought, and they got caught up in that. This time, after that experience, they've used that as a, hey, let's stay focused on us. Let's prep. Let's get ready to go, not worry about this.
Ball is loose, a scoop and a score, and racing for the end zone is Devin Deal. And to borrow from my friend Rich Eisen, TCU has busted out the whooping stick. 40 consecutive points with a point after coming.
And once again, Reese, it's Andy Avalos' goal of getting offenses behind the sticks. It's a 3rd down and long. Look at the pressure with the linebacker blitz. Good job of spying. Gets a little bit fooled with the pressure from the effort there from behind, from backs. Ball's on the ground, and there's Deal to pick it up, walking it in for his 2nd defensive touchdown.
Deal had one. Bud Clark had one earlier. Devin will get the jewelry that comes with it.
I know this is week 1. You know, we've seen a lot of teams. You don't want to ever overreact to what happens there heading out. But Big 12, a lot of coaches and players right now in the Big 12 are watching this game. And this is a team that you mentioned won 9 games, but there are some areas they had to get better. They're going to be a dangerous team this year in that conference.
It is true that one game a season does not make, but if you're going to open, you might as well open the way purple is. Swarming, scooping, scoring, and rolling in Chapel Hill. The blue you see in Kenan Stadium is mostly the seats because TCU has done what road teams love to do. They've about half emptied the stadium.
Half, huh?
Okay, maybe a little more.
I think they. That's a tough, the build-up, and then we'd be down 41-7.
41 consecutive points after Carolina took the 7-0 lead. Gio Lopez has had his 2nd turnover and took a big hit. We'll go to the bench, and Max Johnson
What a story.
Make his return. Spectacular story. He's been around, started his career at LSU, went to Texas A&M, been through coaching changes. Both of those 2 places, the coaches changed. It happened here at Carolina. First game last year against Minnesota, suffered a horrific broken leg. And it's great to see Max back on the field. He's a great young man from a tremendous family. Brad Johnson, Super Bowl winning quarterback. His father, another lefty for Belichick at quarterback, and he completes his first pass. Now, you might have been watching in that opening weekend of last season when Max Johnson against Minnesota on August 29th took that big hit, said he could just feel his leg dangling. There was concern and legitimate concern that he might lose that leg for a while. But he fought back through rehab, got great care, great support from his family. And here he is playing. He's been cleared, been doing everything, physically doing very well, and it's just great to see him back out there and getting to play as he tries to give Carolina something to feel good about. Third down coming, Holly.
Well, Max Johnson spent 9 days in the hospital after that horrific injury, had a metal rod inserted hip to knee. He had to have a wound vacuum as we see a fumble here on the field. It was a horrific comeback, and as you said, a chance that there was a possible amputation. This young man said, I will be back, and 1 year from that game, he is back stepping onto the football field. He said, my parents became my best friends because they had to help me get out of bed and walk. 5 surgeries later, and here he is playing.
Unbelievable story. It's incredible. He's just out there. You know, like you and Reese indicated, I mean, to think about possibly losing his leg to being all the way back to being able to be on the field, that is right, almost parallel to the line of scrimmage. They called this a lateral. TCU with a quick recovery.
But Marcus
the previous play is under further review.
I don't.
Ruling on the field was a backward pass recovered by TCU.
I think this is going to be. I think it's going to be an incomplete pass.
Bill, what do you think there? You got to turn Bill's.
Bill and Monier, our officiating expert.
The play's under review right now, and it's a forward pass. It's incomplete. They'll get the ball back.
I like when you say it with authority like that. Like there's this, you're just not even.
Blind squirrel finds an acorn.
There it is. Yeah, that looks forward, right?
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they thought it was backward to begin with. That's pretty clear.
You're not going to hem and haw at all. You're just saying that's an incomplete.
I always try and tell you how I'd handle the call.
And that's what we appreciate.
And that's what it is.
By the way, a lot of feedback on that LSU Clemson touchdown call.
I've had a lot of it too.
I can't tell you how many people called me and they said, officials and coaches said, oh, that's definitely a touchdown. And other people, it's definitely incompletion. I don't know what the hell the rule is. I mean, how do we?
Everybody I've talked to that's still involved in the game, even some replay officials, all said touchdown. You know, he had the ball.
Wow.
But we get to talk about it. We don't make the decision.
Yeah.
All right, here's Kevin Marr.
After further review, it was an incomplete forward pass. It'll be third down.
Holly, Max Johnson getting to come back out onto the field, and the rehab was a story of perseverance.
Right. I mean, this was really tough. 3 hours a day, 7 days a week, Max Johnson. And he said, I remember texting my dad, I took my first steps today. So that here he is back running, back playing. I want to give a special shout out to his mom, Nikki, his dad, Brad. They had to move into an apartment here in Chapel Hill to help their son. He could not do anything. And I mean, it just makes me want to cry that he is out here playing tonight, guys. It's just such a story of resilience and determination.
The scar on the right side there, on the outside of his leg. Jeez.
Max's brother, tight end on the team, Jake Johnson. Boy, Max just took a big hit and delivered the football. Jordan Shipp making the catch.
Now the TCU defensive line continuing to push people around. This time it's the left guard, Banfield. Watch the push coming right through here. Just pushes him. It hits Max Johnson right as he throws it. Oh, my gosh.
I'm sure Max was wondering what that first hit was going to be like. It could have been a little less than that, I'm sure. But boy, did he stand in there and deliver the football.
That's what I was going to. I was so caught up in the hit and hoping he got up that didn't have full appreciation for what he did downfield with his vision downfield to find Shipp.
Kirk, that was their first third down conversion of the night. Max going back to work, going to take a shot, got a man out there. It's complete. Making the grab is Javarius Green, his first catch of the night. And Max Johnson's giving him a little late spark with a 39-yard completion.
Boy, he does a good job using his eyes this way to try to hold the safety and then take that shot down that left sideline. And by doing that, he held him just long enough to the middle of the field by looking him off, allowed him to be able to squeeze that in. McFadden almost got over, but he just kind of sat right on the hash with the experience of Max Johnson trying to freeze him there, not let him get a head start down that sideline.
So since the first time North Carolina had the football, this is easily their best drive. Inside 4.5 minutes to go, and see if they got the snap off in time.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
You know what you lose in the mobility and the potential threat of quarterback run game, you pick up with having an experienced guy that's taken a ton of snaps, whether it's at LSU, A&M, North Carolina, and allows him to be able to do some things with his eyes, do some things by manipulating the defense. So you pick up the experience. You just don't have, obviously, the ability to move him around as much.
Max going to get rid of it and checked it down to Gauss, and Michael Thiessen into the game and getting in on the hit parade.
This defense is flying around. Like I said, I think I said it after the second drive, they didn't feel threatened much downfield. Allowed them to really crowd the line, really be aggressive close to the kind of the shorter passes. And every time North Carolina took shots downfield, the corners are right there where they needed to be, unless it was a play where you create. Until Johnson made that throw down the sideline.
Gauss has it. No running room. It'll be third down. Now Max Johnson getting his opportunity on the last turnover that Gio Lopez, the starting quarterback, had. He took a hit low, and he's in the injury tent right now. Transfer from South Alabama, the guy that won the job, won the competition with Max Johnson. We'll check on him if we get word on his condition.
And it was a battle going down to really the last week of camp, you know, and here's the hit that he took when the ball came out. You know, and I'll say this, week one, you hate to see Gio go down, but it's an opportunity for Max Johnson. You know, you're down 41-7, the game's over, but you're trying to make plays and show Freddie Kitchens, the offensive coordinator, and the head coach, Bill Belichick, that you could be the guy.
You know, a third down play coming for Freddie Kitchens. It's been a frustrating night, a frustrating debut. Certainly not what North Carolina fans had hoped it would be, not what Bill Belichick hoped, but he was pretty candid that he didn't know exactly what this was going to look like for a while. There are two sides to this. One, this is a long-term vision from North Carolina. In the immediate vision, you want to give TCU all the credit in the world for coming in here and being as dominant as it has been.
Yeah, TCU looks to be a incredibly seasoned team. You know, you mentioned the amount of numbers that they have coming back. But I think you have a quarterback in Josh Hoover. This is a team that has big aspirations for this season, and they've shown up ready to play tonight. The thing that I think with Bill Belichick and all the hype and hoopla about his team, you know, sometimes you look at 70 new players that are trying to gel. Bill Belichick coaching in college for the first time. I'm really interested to see that this next quarter and 2 minutes and 45 seconds with Max Johnson, more of a veteran, like I said, what he can do here with this team and see if he can help this offense kind of calm down.
Another one right on the money. Completion is going to bring up fourth down and short. That's Gauss again, running back, who's proven a reliable target out of the backfield.
If nothing else, what you've seen since he's been in here is he's getting the ball out quickly, and he's making good decisions, and he's throwing the ball accurately. You know, and it's really all you want to see. They haven't had a whole lot of success at all throwing the football, but that's his strength, coming back, getting back, and putting the football right on the money and getting it out quickly.
So 4th and 2 is North Carolina. See if they can put another one into the end zone. Maybe salvage a little consolation prize. Pushing it straight ahead. Goss got up there, and they'll move the change for the first down.
Well, Bill Belichick always talks about smart, tough, and dependable players. This is week one. You know, the season's not over. So if you're a football player in Carolina Blue, you're being evaluated every single play. And what you're going to find out at 41-7, it's kind of like when you're out here on this field. They talked about coming together as a team when it's 100 degrees out and they're running sprints. This is worse than that because it's mentally and emotionally worse than that. how do you respond when you're down 41-7? You're going to find out who wants to play football for the rest of the year on this last quarter.
Johnson buying a little time, finds his man. That is Ship. Ship dancing down toward the goal line. He'll be stopped. They're going to mark him down right at the 2.
Nice mobility there by Max Johnson. He got away from some pressure from his left. He's able to break contain. Still showing he's got that mobility despite that devastating injury, and that's their difference maker on the perimeter. Jordan Ship won. I mean, if you're going to find a guy that can win one-on-one, sit in the soft spot in the zone, just kind of have some natural instincts, clearly there's Ship and there's everybody else on the perimeter for Carolina's offense.
Headed down toward a half-minute to play in the 3rd quarter. Carolina trying to get one in. Max Johnson firing, touchdown, and it's his brother Jake.
That's great.
Johnson to Johnson puts one on the board for the Heels.
Now that was a great drive. I mean, that's what you want to see when you're down 41-7 and more than half the stadium's emptied out. This game's over, and you got a team that's still out there fighting. I mean, you can build on that. You can build on that. You can watch the film, and you can use the example of Max Johnson coming in and providing a spark and using the experience that he has to be able to make the plays and throw the football accurately. 6 of 7 on that drive.
It's not the first time he's found his brother in college. They played together at Texas A&M prior to coming here, and has to feel good. Max to Jake puts one on the board for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, how many times have they thrown this, right? He's right here, does a nice job in his stop route of just kind of letting the receivers around him affect the defense, and then he just kind of sits in that spot. Love the accuracy. Look where he puts his football, just to the outside, away from the defender, the linebacker. Easy pitch and catch, just like in the backyard when they were growing up. You know, Max Johnson, think of the adversity he went through his own personal life that Holly just told you about. 41-7 to Max Johnson's nothing. You know, let's go out here, guys, and compete and get better.
Number 18 is now
There's the
number
progressive
42.
pylon cam to show you the nice throw and catch for the touchdown.
Boy, after all that family's been through, what do you think they feel like right now? By the way, his last touchdown pass prior to that one was also to his brother. Maybe they've got something working
Little brotherly
here.
love. Yeah.
Now there's Brad. You know his story. Played at Florida State, won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. Mom was a tremendous volleyball player at the University of South Florida. His uncle, our friend and colleague, Mark Richt, the former Georgia Miami head coach. And not a lot to smile about for the Tar Heels, but I think with the Johnson family, just seeing Max back out there and seeing the brothers hook up for a touchdown makes it eases the sting a little bit, I would say.
Like I said, I mean, at 41-7, you know, this game's over, but everything that Max Johnson went through, fighting in camp to try to win the job, coming up short, losing the job to a first-year transfer, and then instead of going in the tank, he just kind of kept prepping and kept thinking maybe he'd get his chance. And in the opening game, who would ever think you're down 41-7, you get the chance to come into the game, and that was the best drive other than the opening drive, by far the best drive we've seen all night from North Carolina. And it was the execution that stood out to me, and clearly knowing where to go with the football and not even thinking about being down in the game. He just went out and executed and led his team to a touchdown. Looked good.
Now TCU has it back. Kavorian Barnes, who had a long touchdown run to start the second half, that was really the one that it was the knockout punch for Carolina. It was 20-7. We were trying to make the point that they needed to make a stop there.
If you get a 3 and out and you get the ball back, who knows? But yeah, that was.
Instead, he went 75, built it to a 20-point lead, and TCU has poured it on ever since. And the Frogs firing that blood from their eyes. They're up 41-14 going to the 4th. Sonny Dykes' team making a statement and spoiling a night for Chapel Bill. Give me back to Capital One Labor Day kickoff on ESPN. This kickoff week presented by Modelo. As we start the 4th quarter, Josh Hoover's still in there for TCU, and that's probably the worst ball Josh has thrown tonight. Holly?
Well, guys, just an update on Gio Lopez. They don't give injury updates, but from what I observed, he came out of the injury tent really holding his right lower back and right hip. As you saw him walk up the tunnel, one of our cameramen told me that as he went through the doors, he just collapsed and started screaming. I know he's in quite a bit of pain right now, but that's all we know about Gio.
I certainly hope this is not terribly serious. It was great talking with Gio yesterday. Just lights up a room when he comes in. Made the move from South Alabama, still nothing but great things to say about Major Applewhite. As Dwyer's had a big night, and he catches another ball from Hoover. And there's a flag back on the near side of the field at about the 33-yard line.
They're going to get an offensive pick here. It was a nice mesh route. Just depends on if they thought that was intentional. It's the receiver to the left. It's Dwyer. You see the collision right there.
That's interference. Offense.
Yep.
Number 0. Half the distance to the goal.
All you have to do on that's DJ Rogers. Watch from the tight end from the right. He's kind of looking up the defender and just kind of basically just not only gets in his way, he gets his hands out. You could just tell his intent was to try to get in the way, and I think the officials did a nice job of feeling that, calling the flag. It's got to almost like look out of your peripheral vision and accidentally
run
show
your hands.
Yeah, run into him. Make it look like you're running a route. You can't make it look like you're going out to block him.
Man, those mesh routes are hard to stop in NCAA football 26. Go-to play when you need a completion.
Especially man coverage. Pitch and catch, right? In that video game?
Yeah. Little shovel pass in there to Trent Battle. Battle with big touchdown run, almost picked up the 3rd and 21. They'll stop him a couple of yards short of the first down and bring up a 4th down.
There'll be many things that are frustrating and chances to improve from week 1 to week 2 for North Carolina. But the biggest, I think, for Steve Belichick and his dad will be looking at the defense, and they got
previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field was a completed catch.
He's saying that ball hit the ground. The underhand pass is fine. It's just a matter of, that looks like it's on the ground. It's incomplete. But yeah, just the tackling. You know, it's one thing whether this is incomplete or complete, but he turns after catching this, or not really catching it, picking it up off the ground, and he turns and goes another 15, 20 yards.
Well, as the replay booth has a look at this, Big 12 crew tonight. Not a lot of controversy. They upset Belichick, missing a couple of holds early in the game. The TCU has Abilene Christian next, and then what a showdown with SMU for the Iron Skillet.
Especially after last year's game.
Like 66-42 or something like that, I think.
Yeah, gave up 66.
SMU put it on them. Then they play Arizona State on the road. So it's about to get real. North Carolina, on the other hand, Charlotte, Richmond, UCF, before a date here with Clemson.
Anything surprise you over the last 5 days of college football? Was your biggest surprise?
Well, I mean, I think Florida State.
Yeah.
You know, because two things.
After further review, it was an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down.
Two things can be true in my judgment in both words. Number one, Florida State has vastly improved. They played with an edge. It was so physical and tough.
Tommy Castellanos backs up. You
So
know, the
good,
talk
man.
that we talked about, he looked great. He looked like Kyler Murray out there.
Yeah, Gus Malzahn, great job.
Unreal.
You're always going to be able to run the ball when Gus
Bama
does
that bad?
Well, that's the other thing. I think it's also true that even
average.
though Florida State is much improved, Alabama looked listed.
But I'm just saying, I used the word lethargic.
Yeah.
They just looked like they were at a Tuesday practice to me. But are they bad, or is it just a rough week? You know, because Florida State looked really good, and Alabama could not have looked any worse. I think that had to be the biggest surprise of the weekend.
Low snap. And TCU gets the punt away. Fair catch will be made by Will Hardy. So North Carolina will have a chance to try to draw a little bit closer. Down big early in the 4th. Celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, supporting all student athletes. Thank you to Allstate for that. 13:53 to play here. Max Johnson back into the game. Gio Lopez, the starter, was hurt. And Max, the veteran quarterback, played really well last drive.
Well, I think the biggest thing he did is, I think that hit got him settled into this drive. And after that, he was back, did a good job using his eyes that time to keep the safety off of his receiver. Ball's out in a hurry there for the touchdown to his brother Jake. Let's see if he can follow up that drive for a touchdown with another 6 points here for the Heels.
Is 7 of 8. His first action since suffering that horrific broken leg in the opener last year. And make it 8 of 9 with a nice catch out there by Green.
Gets to the top of his route or top of his drop, and the ball is out. And the timing of that is perfect. Allows Green to go down and make the throws a little low, but because it's on time, his parents are excited to see that. I like that. That's the quarterback dad. You have the headphones. You don't have to hear the fans. You don't have to hear anybody.
That's the way Brad used to do it, though, when he was spinning that magic bean for the Seminoles and the Buccaneers. Johnson again, on target again. And catch by Alex Taylor.
He's putting on a clinic right now with different throws, different levels. Again, we know it's 41-14, but if you've watched this whole game with us and you're looking at the clock, you're thinking, you know what? Max Johnson here is just giving these guys, he's giving them some rhythm. He's giving them an identity. It's allowing Freddie Kitchens as a play caller to attack in different ways. But he looks like the seasoned veteran that he is.
Mm-hmm. His attitude was great, too. Gio Lopez was really open about how helpful Max Johnson has been. Said he didn't try to mess him up, though Carolina messes up there. And it's another turnover, I believe. Looks as if the Frogs got it, and they did.
Yeah, I don't think the ball ever got in there, and I don't know if he was surprised to get the ball.
By TCU, first down.
I think that was Davion Goss that changed uniform numbers, and 37, worn 37 tonight. He just never got it in, and it's the third turnover of the night. Zach Chapman was there to corral it. And 41-14, 11:47 to go. The Horned Frogs have the football back.
For Wallet.
Stars came out to see Bill Belichick. His day certainly started better than it is going and better than it will end. First night as a college head coach. First time they had the football, they went 83 yards, took a 7-0 lead, and since then, it has been all Horned Frogs all the time. 41-14, under 12 minutes to play here on Labor Day night. Glad you're with us. Reese Davis, Kirk Herbstreit, and Holly Rowe. Thanks for sticking as well. Scott Van Pelt coming along shortly. Reaction to this day, Josh Hoover's still in the game. And now they're running the football, and it's Nate Palmer getting his first action. And it'll be first down for TCU. And, Bill Belichick, his dad, Steve, obviously huge influence on him, longtime coach at Navy, other places, was running backs coach here in the mid-50s. That's Bill when he was 3.
Going way back.
When he was.
You think he always knew he'd want to try to come back here? You think he just right place, right time, this stage of his life?
I think probably that, but I think you said to him yesterday in our meeting that you expected maybe someday Navy because of his affinity for the Naval Academy.
I could have seen that.
Largely grew up there, and now Nate Palmer's running through tackles. Nate Palmer with fresh legs, wanting to get his act. And I tell you, Evan Gibson sort of got run over. His 26-yard gain for Palmer.
I think the most frustrating thing for Bill Belichick is going to be the 3 turnovers and so many missed tackles and some blown coverages. That's what week 1, some teams you struggle. There's another missed tackle.
Dwyer, who's been in once tonight, trying to get him for a second time, and he'll be stopped short of the goal line. And Jordan Dwyer's had himself a night, well over 100 yards. In fact, he'll be over 160 with that catch, I think.
Yeah, they're over 200 yards rushing now. Dwyer's had a big night. Like I said, they've gone into the boundary and attacked that part of the secondary.
let me correct that. They'd already updated the stat, and I did the math myself, but still over 130 is good. And you see Josh Hoover kind of hopping out of there. I'm a little surprised. He's got a little bit of hitch in the get along there. I'm surprised he's still in the game, to be honest.
He gets stepped on. I don't know what happened there. That was kind of an awkward exchange with he and Palmer. Let's see if he gets stepped on. I can't tell. That right toe, maybe?
Just a little bit. I mean, you and I both said in the commercial break, well, they'll take him out of harm's way. Abilene Christian next week, and this weekend in SMU. They're trying to get him maybe more stats. Another touchdown pass, and he's got it. That is DJ Rogers, who's had a good night. And
Josh Hoover's feeling it tonight.
Yeah, they're pouring it on. They're making a statement right now. This has its roots in the game we talked about earlier, the Colorado game.
Well, and again, I think they were tired of the message throughout the last week or so, and they respect Bill Belichick, but it's almost like they felt that people weren't talking about them at all. A team that won 9 games with as much experience as anybody in the Big 12 coming back. Did a good job, by the way, of baiting the defense there, looking into the back corner, and then ended up throwing it to that front corner for the touchdown. But hopefully his night's over. 27-36, 284, and a couple touchdowns.
Well, if TCU has had a rather lengthy memory about that loss that we've mentioned against Colorado, I would imagine that North Carolina might have a lengthy memory that could extend to Ireland next year when TCU and North Carolina square off in the season opener there. They're putting it on them.
Could be ranked after that performance.
But to the other point that you've talked about a lot about who you play, I still have the 3 teams that lost those big games in my top 6.
Good for you.
I mean,
good.
Those were good games, tough games. They lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you. Hope everybody follows suit there.
So here are some of the things that it all started off with. The highest rated show in game day history because of the love for Lee Corso.
Sure.
It was remarkable.
What a day.
Remarkable.
Congratulations to him, to ESPN, the way they did the show. Ohio State did such a great job. They went on to win the football game against Arch Manning. We talked about this. Probably the biggest surprise was how dominant Florida State looked. Good for the Seminoles. Hopefully they stay hot. Kalen DeBoer back to the drawing board with his Alabama team. Have Georgia, by the way, coming up in about 3 weeks in Athens.
And not too long until Florida State has Miami in the not too distant future. And then, of course, you had a great one on Saturday.
Oh, man, that was a good game. And tell you what, I think LSU might be the best team in the country with Garrett Nussmeier. And with that defense, they went out and got some critical pieces. Blake Baker's turned them loose. How about Carson Beck? I think a lot of people are like, Carson Beck, he's going to Miami, took the money, doesn't love the game anymore. He reminded everybody that he and the Canes are for real. That was a good football game, and boy, they executed well. The defense looks great. Canes are going to be tough this year.
I agree with you, and you know what else? I thought C.J. Carr in Notre Dame showed a lot of guts.
Yeah.
Get back in that game.
Yeah.
Had a chance.
You know, Miami has a reputation of being kind of a quiet, it's fan base, but they're one of those fan bases when they know they have a good team and they've got a team like Notre Dame coming into their stadium, they show up, and that is a loud stadium in a game like that. Huge advantage for them, and you're right. C.J. Carr, I mean, they didn't get the ball downfield. A lot of it was short passing, but they did enough to be very competitive for the majority of that game.
They had a couple of times late. Perhaps bodes well for the future for Marcus Freeman's team.
And I think with Arch Manning, I think they'll have a chance to kind of get back. That was a tough ask to go into Ohio Stadium, defending national champs with a quarterback that really hasn't. He had a couple starts last year, but this is first. It's his team now, kind of moment against a really athletic Ohio State defense with Matt Patricia. But they'll go back. They'll learn from that. I think Texas is going to be fine. Tough schedule in the SEC, but I think at the end of the day, they'll still be a team that's going to end up making the playoff.
I think so. I think Texas will be fine. I was really impressed with Julian Sayin.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that playing at home is in some ways
but
sometimes easier than playing on the road, but he looked really calm. Obviously, he's got arm talent.
Looked
really
comfortable.
Player,
he just looked comfortable within the framework of the offense, and did a really good job of when he saw it. He got the ball out of his hands, and I think when the dust settles, I think people are going to look at Texas's defense. If they stay healthy, that is a nasty group. I mean, they got bodies on the inside that they rotate. They got edge, speed, and pressure. Really good at the second level with their linebacker play. Experienced secondary. I mean, they're going to be tough for any offense. And Sayin, I thought for his first start, looked good.
Well, Josh Hoover's night is over. Speaking of quarterbacks who look good, Hoover was terrific tonight. Ken Seals, a veteran, played at Vanderbilt earlier in his career, has been at TCU for a while. He's in to run this thing out. John Denman, young running back, if they had hoped to get a few snaps tonight, now they're getting a chance to.
Yeah, I think it's great for America to take a good look at Josh Hoover tonight. Guy that played every game last year for TCU, had a chance potentially to enter the portal and, you know, for some big money. Didn't even blink, didn't even take the call. He was just like, hey, I told my teammates I'm coming back. Who would I be if I broke my word? You know, I told my guys I'd be back. I want to be back. I love TCU. So he's back. He's got a big smile on his face tonight, and he should. And with his leadership and the system that they run offensively to go along with the defense that they have in the second year with Andy Avalos, there's a lot to like about Hoover and the Horned Frogs this year. This is going to be a fun team this year to watch.
Holly?
Well, guys, Josh Hoover's had a great night. You're talking about what a great young man he is with high character, but he's also really great off the field. There's a wonderful story on ESPN.com by Pete Thample about he was driving down the street in his truck and he saw an elderly woman out mowing her lawn. So he jumps out of the truck and goes and finishes mowing her lawn. And he said, I wouldn't want my grandma doing that, so I'm going to make sure somebody else's isn't. Another great story, Gus Bates, an 81-year-old man that he made friends with. They had lunch every Friday for the last couple of years until Gus passed away. And just a young man who wants to give back to his community when he sees people in need that might need his spirit and his chatting. He's there to make things better. Just a little glimpse of who he is off the football field.
Holly, a great family. Spent some time over the last couple weeks communicating with Alex. We talked about Caleb. He's an outstanding baseball player. His sister, Hannah, is coming for all of our jobs, working in sports broadcasting. I think in Oklahoma City, if memory serves. It's a tremendous family. We've had a great night. Now, Alex told me he left a few shots on the golf course today, but they didn't leave any shots out tonight.
No.
For Josh's team.
Not at all.
You're going to get a chance next Saturday night, College Game Day, going to Norman to see a couple of exciting quarterbacks. John Mateers made the move from Washington State to Oklahoma. Very successful in his debut. And Bryce Underwood at Michigan. Did you see the block Bryce Underwood threw on the touchdown run?
I did. Sherrell Moore is the head coach at Michigan, going back to his alma mater.
Before he takes an imposed break for a couple of weeks because of the situation involving Connor Stallions. But Michigan got off to a good start against New Mexico, and now challenge will be much greater. And Oklahoma, a lot of pressure there to get that offense going with Mateer and Ben Arbuckle. Michigan trying to bounce back from a season that didn't meet its standards last year. Certainly the end was outstanding with the victories over Ohio State and against Alabama in the bowl game. Inside 5 minutes to go, 48-14. Most points Bill Belichick has ever given up in a game. Most points North Carolina has allowed in an opener. And Seals is like, hey man, I've been sitting over there on the side all night. Why in the world will we punt in plus territory? Kendall Bryles going to give the senior backup quarterback something he likes here. TCU has not let its foot off the gas, so they are playing the backups now. Nor should they. Thinking about rolling double nickels here, and he was powered through there, and he got the first down. Let's have a look at TCU's schedule. They're off Saturday, then Abilene Christian, then the Skillet game.
I mean, it's not like you can catch a break. SMU at Arizona State, Coach Prime, on the road in Manhattan, Baylor at home, on the road at West Virginia is always tough. That is a much more daunting schedule than I think some might think.
Well, Kansas State had to pull one out of the fire against North Dakota on Saturday night after getting back from Dublin. Denman running through tackles, and that's why they like the youngster, 5'10", 210-pounder. Belichick hoping there will be better nights than this one. When it's 48-14, the team with the big lead is driving, and we've talked about next week. You know, we had a discussion at dinner last night. If College Game Day were an offensive philosophy or formation, what would it be? As I mentioned earlier, North Carolina allowing 48, that's the most points allowed by any Belichick coach team. If College Game Day, the show, were an offensive philosophy or formation, what would it be? I never thought we'd get this in tonight. But
wishbone?
I don't know, man. I feel like we're multiple pro.
You think we're multiple pro?
A lot of different formations.
Right.
A lot of different things.
Pete made his way in here. I appreciate that. Big fella. Come on, get up there, boy.
Peter's up here checking out your board now. Peter is 3rd and 2.
Make the call here, Pete. Help us out, kid.
TCU mercifully trying to get deep in the clock.
There he is.
There he is. Look at the big fella.
Let him
back and make sure we can see him.
There you go. You see, there's my board. You got the board right here. Here's the clicker. You work the clicker here. There you go, right there. Here's your board. You call the rest of the last 2 minutes. It's all you, kid.
Look at this.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Here, give me a headset. Well, the wheels are off. 48-14, 2 minutes to go. I was down visiting with Hubert before the game. He was excited to go over and say hello to Nick Saban. Tar Heels going to be good. They had some recruits in today, I'm told. Yeah, we're going to get them rolling.
What's
here
your
again.
breakdown of the ACC this year? Is Carolina the team
in basketball? I don't know.
Too early?
I think, yeah, a little early.
We got time here to break that down. If you
we can talk ACC football.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not, there are a lot of things I'd like to change about preseason predictions. I'm going to stick with Clemson winning the national championship.
You got Clemson winning it all?
I mean, you know.
I think I'm going Penn State and LSU in the championship.
LSU looked good, that's for sure. They could do it.
LSU is, now again, you got to stay healthy, but they got a salty defense this year.
Okay, now. Nate Palmer has picked up the first down.
You're not thinking Miami with Carson Beck after that game. I mean, I think it's closer than people think. I mean, if we had a Miami Clemson ACC championship game, that would be a really good matchup.
Okay, they're gonna call off the dogs after we called in the dogs to help us out.
Should have done that a lot earlier. Big fella was ready. He was in the bullpen waiting.
Petey came in here hot, too. But at halftime, they said, Pete's in the bus taking a nap. Boy, oh, boy. He was ready to go now. He came in, bouncing around. And there's going to be a little bit of a spring in the step of the Horned Frogs after this performance. Josh Hoover and company dominant on a night with Bill Belichick goes to college football. Belichick and Sonny Dykes greeting. Perhaps saying see you in Dublin.
Yeah.
The season opener next year. And
well, though, Carolina, like every team that has a rough opening week, he may go up into the film room right now and take a peek to see where they can get better. They're obviously going to get better. It'll be interesting to see if Max Johnson is the quarterback next time around. We hope Gio's okay. But in the meantime, what a win for TCU. The story really is about Sonny Dykes and Horned Frogs and dominating performance.
And speaking of Sonny Dykes, he's with Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach Dykes, there were a lot of other headlines leading into this game tonight. How did you make it about TCU leaving the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all felt a little disrespected maybe coming in there was a lot of conversation and none of it was about us. And so, I think we all were highly motivated.